Hey, so it's dinner time in the Taylor house, and I'm going to put together a Cordon Bleu Casserole, okay? Using just leftover food and stuff I've had in the freezer, okay? So I am going to use the amount of ham I could fit in a quart-size bag. So this is probably a good 16-ounce chunk of smoked ham. And then I have a quart-size Ziploc freezer bag of rotisserie chicken. So that is about 2 cups of shredded chicken. Okay, we're gonna use that. So in my mixing bowl, I've got 1 block, 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened. And I also have about a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. And to that, I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of sour cream, okay? And I'm going to whisk that up with about 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard. That's what gives the Cordon Bleu that tanginess, okay? And so I'm just going to whisk that until it's really creamy. This is such the easiest dish to make. And it's just this big, fancy, expensive meal at a restaurant, and it takes no time at all because we're not going to bread the chicken and flatten it out and put the ham and the cheese in. We're gonna combine it all and cook it into a casserole. And this freezes really good in your meal prep kits. So if you want to meal prep a lot of this food, go for it because it works really, really well. Okay, so into the sauce mix, we're gonna cube up this ham into kind of like bite-sized pieces, watching your fingers when you're using a knife and all that meat, okay? And in it goes. This is so easy and it's so yummy. And I'm gonna serve this with some broccoli with brown butter. Of course I am. But you serve it with any vegetable or salad that you would like. Okay. When it gets smaller, it gets a little bit scary for the fingers, so kind of take it down a little bit. Do it in small batches, chop it up, throw it in. I'm also going to do that with the chicken. Even though I shredded the chicken, I'm just going to chop it through so that it's a little smaller so it matches the ham. And make sure when you're buying ham, this is our Christmas ham. Make sure that you are checking for your sugar because sugar creates heart disease. And so make sure you're picking ham that has no added sugars. That is very hard to find, but when you do find it, it's a keeper. Oh, Bella. Bella is begging. So, woo-hoo. All right. In goes our ham. And now the chicken. I'm gonna pull out. So it's because I had it in a Ziploc bag, it is the same amount as the ham, and that's a good way to indicate that you've got 50-50 of everything, right? And that's why I like using Ziploc freezer bags that are the same size so that I know I can pull one of each out and have the same amount, depending on what kind of recipe I'm making. And again, just making sure it's in bite-sized pieces. And when you're cutting your chicken like this, if you missed a bone or two, you're gonna find it when you're chopping it up. So that's really good tip, okay? Alrighty, I'm gonna rinse my knife and I'm gonna flip my cutting board over and we're gonna tackle the cheese. Now in a traditional Cordon Bleu recipe, it calls for Swiss cheese. If you don't like Swiss cheese, don't use Swiss cheese. And Walmart has 8 ounce of Walmart brand cheeses for $2.22. So the cheese is not gonna break your bank, and you're just gonna chop it into the same size proportion as the meat. It's that simple. And for a quart size of ham and a quart size of rotisserie chicken, I'm gonna use 16 ounces of cheese, or 2 8-ounce blocks of cheese. And I'm just going to rough chop it. It's that simple and that quick to get in the oven. So if you've worked all day, in the morning, pull your frozen meat out to defrost, and when you get home, it literally takes just a few minutes to get it into the oven. Yes, you can also do this in a crock pot. You can also put it together and not bake it, stick it in the freezer, and then you can time your oven to come on an hour before you get home, and it's defrosting all day in the oven, and then gets cooked and it's already prepared when you get home. We don't really think about using that timed bake option on our ovens very often, but it works really, really well. Especially when it's been in like a deep freezer that are colder than a refrigerator freezer. Okay, it was that simple, and that's all there is to it. I'm gonna put some salt and pepper in there after I wash my hands. There it is, salt and pepper. We're gonna incorporate that all together. And I'm looking at my baking dish going, maybe I got the smaller one out and I should have grabbed the bigger one. So I'm gonna grab the bigger one once I get this all mixed. So as you can see in my bowl, that is so simple to incorporate all of that in there. One bowl meal. And I've got enough sauce to coat all that meat and all that cheese so that it comes out super creamy. My oven just went off. It's preheated at 400, and I'm gonna stick this in the oven for a half an hour to 45 minutes. Because everything's already cooked in here, there's no egg to cook even. So it's gonna go fast. You're really just heating it up and melting that cheese. All right, here we go. I've got parchment paper in my baking sheet so that my cleanup is super easy. I'm gonna pour this in. How many will this feed? This is about 8 portions. Because when you take, that's 32 ounces of meat, plus the cheese, 16 ounces. So if everybody gets a 4-ounce portion, that is 8 servings. So you can totally cook this for your family and then meal prep the leftovers in frozen containers with some broccoli. Okay, I'm gonna pepper the top. Let's get that out of here. So you know me. Now, I'm not gonna put, you can put more cheese on this if you want on the top so that it has like a cheese crust, and that is so doable. You can even make some fathead dough and roll it out and put it on the top and create like a crust, and you'd have like a really awesome cordon bleu pot pie type feel, okay? That's up to you. But this, just in this simple form, will feed my family with a salad and broccoli with brown butter, and it's just the perfect keto meal, and it's that simple. So we're gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm gonna check it at 30. And as soon as it's yummy brown on top, I'm gonna pull it out and I'll show you what it looks like. I think it's ready. Let's check it and pull it out of the oven. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. Look at that. That is what we're talking about. That looks so good. Okay, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna scoop it up. Okay, now I would let this rest for about 10 minutes and let all the juices come back into the meat. That's why we rest meat. If we rest meat for about 10 minutes, all the juices that would normally just run out onto the cutting board or the plate when you're slicing it, we want to give that meat time to rest, pull the juices back inside so that when you cut into it, it doesn't flood out of the meat, okay? We're gonna do that with this casserole. Let all those juices go right back into the body of the casserole and let it cool down just a little bit so we don't burn our mouth too. But there you go, Cordon Bleu Casserole, ham, chicken, and Swiss cheese with a Dijon creamy cheese sauce. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, will you subscribe to Isn't Life Yummy YouTube channel and like my Facebook page as well and share this recipe with your friends. Have a great evening with your family. See you soon.